This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time.
This war stops now.
End the war. Bring freedom to our people.
No. No more tricks. No more lies. Only truth.
This is where we hold them! This is where we fight!
Greetings, citizen. How are you feeling on this glorious day?
Welcome to the Stop and Listen podcast. I am your host, Jamie. How are you doing? Welcome to a beautiful Saturday. It is beautiful skies out there. There's a lot of snow on the ground and it's really, really cold. Cold. Excuse me. It's in the 20s here in St. Louis. Bitter as cold as Saturday. But I hope to see some family today. So,
Older than a witch's titty out there.
it'll be worth the journey. So apparently, President Biden finally made time to see East Palenstine, Ohio.
Come on, man!
East Palenstine, Ohio. That was where a train derailment was roughly a year ago.
Come on, man!
Yeah, and it had some very, very bad chemicals on it, and they just burnt off. They just burnt the all the chemicals just to expedite the reopening of the railroad tracks. And Biden just got there, and there was a lot of controversy. Well, not a lot of controversy because they get away with whatever they want. But that would fall under Buttigieg.
The thing is, Bob,
His first name.
it's not that I'm lazy. It's that I just don't care.
Little feller who ran for president, woefully unqualified. He is the head of the transportation department, which includes trains and such, and this was talked about. So we're going to get to what Biden said a year after the fact, but I kind of want to do a little bit of a refresher. So this one is from February 18th, so I don't know exactly when this happened, but it was about a year ago, so it's about right. The derailment of a train carrying hazardous materials near a town in Ohio earlier this month has prompted environmental concerns and chemical fears for residents, even as state officials work to reassure them. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm not gonna do what everyone thinks I'm gonna do.
I'm not sure what the paper mask, how influential they were in this. This fella's got a neck gaiter on. But I don't see a lot of paper mask on. I don't know. Maybe that's the problem. Okay. Most of the train's 150 rail cars were carrying cargo that was not hazardous, officials say, such as cement, steel, frozen vegetables. Oh. Well, neat. So, stop complaining so much. Yes, you breathed in burnt off deadly chemicals, but I mean, you got some burnt off carrots too. Now I do remember, they're like, oh, the government's not helping, and then, Trump showed up and got everyone excited. This is something that should be in the federal government's wheelhouse, but also, the railroad companies are not public companies. So why aren't they responsible for the damage caused? This week, the EPA released a partial Norfolk Southern manifest that detailed other hazardous chemicals on the train. Okay, inhalation of... Okay, 5 of the derailed cars were carrying vinyl chloride, a man-made substance. Okay, thermal mess is always a good idea, but I don't think the man-made substance is that necessary? And it's things like that. It's just like, well, why is that in there? Is there a reason? You're trying to soften this. They're trying to soften this. Is what this says. This is NPR. This is government propaganda at its finest. The man-made substance as a key ingredient in PVC, the hard plastic resin used widely in construction and healthcare. At room temperature, vinyl chloride is a sweet-smelling, colorless gas. It is typically transported in the form of compressed liquid. Inhalation of vinyl chloride can cause respiratory symptoms like shortness of breath, along with neurological symptoms like headaches and dizziness. Chronic exposure to high levels of vinyl chloride has been associated with liver damage and cancer, according to the CDC. This week, the EPA released a partial Norfolk Southern manifest that detailed other hazardous chemicals on the train, which included ethylene glycol, monobutyl ether, ethyl hexyl, stuff that we don't know. In order to avoid a catastrophic explosion, officials evacuated residents and intentionally burned off some of the chemicals. The EPA says the air in East Palestine is safe. Officials say the municipal water in East Palestine is safe. Officials say the municipal water in East Palestine is safe to drink, but those with private wells should use bottled water until further testing can be completed. Now, that doesn't seem too outrageous. Now, so it would be a surprise that East Palestine's water supply is okay. I mean, I would assume not, but what about a little bit south of them, a little bit downriver? How's their water? Some residents of East Palestine say they still feel unsafe. Yeah. These failures will have consequences. Here's a video. This was from 9 months ago. So about 3 months after it happened. But it says, it's from Practical Engineering. East Palestine Derailment Explained. So I thought this might be, I haven't watched it yet. This might be interesting because it sounds like it's going to be completely separate from politics. So, one moment. All right, here we go.
On the evening of Friday, February 3rd, 2023, 38 of 149 cars of a Norfolk Southern Railway freight train derailed in East Palenstine, Ohio. 5 of the derailed cars were carrying vinyl chloride, a hazardous material that built up pressure in the resulting fires, eventually leading Norfolk Southern to vent and burn it in a bid to prevent an explosion. The ensuing fireball and cloud brought the normally unseen process of hazard.
Now, when they do forest fires, I've seen them. Don't they have like little planes and they'll drop some kind of chemical or liquid or something over out of the area? Have I not seen that? Because I think that something like that would be ideal for this kind of situation. I don't know what that is doing. Almost completely delusional. I think like something like this maybe like might
cargo transportation into a single chilling view, and the event became a lightning rod of controversy over rail industry regulations, federal involvement in chemical spills, and much more. Defect detectors look for lots of issues that can lead to derailment or damage, including dragging equipment, overheight or overwidth cars, a hazard if the train will be passing through tunnels or under bridges, and, important in this case, overheating axles and bearings. Depending on the railway operator and line, these detectors are often spaced every 10 or 20 miles or 15 to 30 kilometers. The freight train that derailed in East Palenstine, designated 32N, passed several defect detectors along its way, and the NTSB collected the data from each one. The suspected wheel bearing responsible for the crash was located on the 23rd car of the train. At milepost 79.9, it registered a temperature of 38 degrees Fahrenheit above the ambient temperature. 10 miles later, the bearing's recorded temperature was 103 degrees above ambient. That might seem kind of high, but it's still well below the threshold set by Norfolk Southern that would trigger the train to stop and inspect the bearing. 20 miles later, the train passed another defect detector that recorded the bearing's temperature at 253 degrees above ambient, greater than the 200-degree threshold, triggering an alarm instructing the crew to stop the train. But it was too late. When the defect detector notified the crew of an issue, they immediately applied the brakes to slow the train. But before they could reach a controlled stop, the train's emergency braking system activated. A security camera nearby caught this footage, showing significant sparks from what is presumably the failing car moments before the derailment. Understanding the severity of the situation, the crew immediately notified their dispatcher of a possible derailment. They applied the handbrakes to the two rail cars at the head of the train, uncoupled, and moved the two locomotives at the head end and themselves about a mile down the line away from the fire and damage, not knowing the events that would quickly follow. A train's consist defines the collection of cars that make it up. 32N's consist included two locomotives at the head, a locomotive near the center of the train called distributed power, and one.
Okay, that happened. I'm not going to do this for another 12 minutes, and I will cut that up to spare y'all. The health effects from this disaster, completely man-made, will probably be felt for years to come. And the Biden administration, I shouldn't say the Biden administration, Joe Biden himself actually finally went to East Palenstine. Oh, he says, we're not going home no matter what until the job is done. A year after it happened.
We're not going home no matter what till this job is done. And it's not done yet. There's a lot more to do. The vast majority has been done. But we're going to stay to the very end.
Inspiring words from the Commander-in-Chief.
Let me be clear. While there are acts of God, this was an act of greed that was 100% preventable. Let me say it again. An act of greed that was 100% preventable.
Now, so what we just seen, I mean, perhaps the accident itself. Like, so what the guy said, they monitor the speed, they monitor whatever, and then the temperature indicate, okay, that's fine. And the next one was like, okay, and then it was out of control, and they had to slam on the brakes. Well, when that increase went up, perhaps they should have stopped the train then when the sensors were detecting that increase in temperature. So that certainly could be accurate. But no mention of the government response and burning it off. Okay, here we go. So this is government here. Biden announced the awarding of 6 National Institute of Health grants to study the long-term effects of the disaster, which left a black cloud of smoke lingering over the town and nearby area after workers set fire to some of the rail cars. Workers.
I'm here to help. If my help's not appreciated, lots of luck, gentlemen.
He expressed his support for the bipartisan rail safety bill and urged the passing of the tax reform bill, quote, which makes sure that folks don't get hit with a surprise tax bill for compensation owed them by the railroad. So people are gonna get a bill because the railroad owes them compensation. So are they saying that would normally be taxed when you get a check for compensation? Okay, that probably is the case, and maybe this is.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Oh, because if we do reparations, you don't want that money taxed. So you got to get that wording in there early. Okay, all right, here we go. Neat. Still in the news, President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief, Joe Biden.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
This was posted 22 hours ago from RNC Research.
2-week vacation? No, but it's about time they step up, don't you think? Instead of going on a 2-week vacation. 2 weeks. They're walking away. 2 weeks. What are they thinking? My God, this is bizarre. No, but it's about time they step up, don't you think? Instead of going.
I mean, are they? contemplating putting off the funding of Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and any other country that needs our money. I assume so, but though I may not agree if that is in fact what he's talking about. I mean, and I don't agree with that. But like, how often the House of Representatives and the Senate seem to be in session? Like, oh, this is kind of a permanent. We kind of need you there, need you present, doing your job for us. I don't know how it's so optional and they just vacation and this and that and yeah, they're pieces of shit. And then at the same press conference, so a man with the last name of Navalny, he's Russian. He was in prison. He's in opposition to Putin. Apparently, he was running for president. Even though he was in prison, and the election's coming up. So this guy, he's in his 40s and died in prison. And the assumption is that Putin was kind of cleaning up. And Biden had some prolific thoughts on it, supposedly. Let's see what he had to say.
All of us should reject the dangerous statements made by the previous president that invited Russia to invade our NATO allies if they weren't paying up.
So,
he said
okay, so Trump said at a rally that if the NATO allies didn't pay their fair share, the 2% of gross domestic product that they are supposed to pay to be in NATO, then he would encourage Russia to attack. Okay.
You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
See, that's the thing. Like with Trump being Trump, like Trump needs to have a little bit more discipline. Like stop just spouting off of the mouth. Like, dude, that's not something to say. I get where he's coming from, and I mean, though he should never encourage. In that case, he should never encourage Russia to take military action. But enough is enough. Like if you guys want to be safe, you guys need to start being responsible for it.
I'm an extremely stable genius. Okay.
Oh, Harvard back in the news. So I seen this on Twitter, posted yesterday from Fox News. Harvard professor says all hell broke loose when his study found no racial bias in police shootings. Roland Fire said he lived under police protection during the fallout of the study. A Harvard professor said that all hell blah, blah, blah. During a sit-down conversation with Barry Weiss of the Free Press, Harvard economics professor Roland Fire discussed the fallout from a 2016 study he published on a racial bias in Houston policing. This is old news. I mean, 2016 study, and there's a documentary about it. I haven't watched it. I haven't been able to find it. But Roland Fryer is a black man. There he is. And basically he was, well, we'll see what it says here. But it's just very odd. What caught my attention about this is the fact that it's being talked about Fox News years after the story came out. The study found that police were more than twice as likely to manhandle, beat, or use some other kind of non-fatal force against blacks, Hispanics than against people of other races. However, the data also determined that officers were 23.8% less likely to shoot at blacks, with 8.5% less likely to shoot at Hispanics than they were to shoot at whites. I had colleagues take me to the side and say, "Don't publish this. You will ruin your career," Fryer revealed. See, like that's what's horrible. Like just truth. If anything was wrong about it, and the disgraced head of Harvard, Claudine Gay, apparently she was behind it. At the time, then Harvard Dean Claudine Gay claimed Fryer's research and conduct with other employees exhibited a pattern of behavior that failed to meet expectations within the community. The totality of these behaviors is a clear violation of institutional norms and a betrayal of the trust, she said. And after she just resigned in disgrace. Huh. I still don't understand why this is being covered. Is this because he just... Okay. So Fox News is doing the same thing I'm doing, just commenting on another story. So Barry Weiss sat down and did this a few days ago. Did this article. And that might actually be worth a read. But as I am perpetually unprepared for this show, I was going to move along. Also with Harvard, DOE launches Department of Education, launches Department of Energy. Okay, I think it's education. But DOE launches an investigation into Harvard following Islamophobia and anti-Arab complaint. The Harvard that got their dean, Claudine Gay, ultimately had to step down because she was very tolerant of the anti-Semitic harassment. But Arabs and Muslims apparently are getting the short end of the stick. Also Asians, because the Supreme Court just ruled that, and whites. And Arabs and Jews. So Harvard, I guess they're really focusing on that. So I wonder where Indians fall in. Are they part of the Asian group as far as like the Harvard discrimination goes? Probably so. More than 60 DOE investigations into K-12 schools, colleges, universities have been opened for alleged discrimination regarding shared ancestry since the start of the Israeli-Hamas war. Okay. Don't need you investigating it. Don't need the federal government, Department of Federal Government just going after this. Okay. Sounds like bullshit. Sounds like Harvard just dancing to please the masses or please their followers, I guess. I don't know, but sounds like bullshit to me. Keeping with the politics, RFK Jr. just released a new video 15 hours ago. Help me stop the World Health Organization treaty. Now, this is serious. This is definitely
the World Health Organization was once a great agency that took care of the poor and underserved communities around the world. But in recent decades, it's been taken over by global elites and foreign powers that don't have America's best interests at heart. This is why we need to stop President Biden from signing the WHO Pandemic Preparedness Treaty. That treaty lays out a blueprint giving the WHO unprecedented authority. Those powers go into effect the moment that the WHO declares a pandemic, which it can do at any moment, even if no true pandemic exists. Even if no true pandemic exists. If this is the first time that you're hearing about this, it's time for you to do some research. The United States of America has a constitution for a reason. We can't let it be stripped from us by international bureaucrats and their bosses at the Billionaires Boys Club in Davos. We the people still have the power. If you want a president who will stop the WHO in its tracks and stand with you, please donate whatever you can to my campaign today.
He's an important voice. He needs to get. He needs help getting on ballots on more states. I think he's gonna start his own party because apparently it's easier to get on ballots and instead of being just an independent. This is. I've said it over and over again. RFK, where have you been? Not my choice for president by any means, but I think he's an important voice and I would like to see him involved.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
I mean, he's only got 115,000 subscribers on YouTube. I mean, like, no, And see, I didn't know I didn't know he had a YouTube channel just like a few days ago. So we're going to do 2 more stories. Not so much a story. This one, I have no idea what this says. This is from Pierre Poilievre. So Pierre Poilievre is running for Prime Minister of Canada. Apparently he's got a really good shot at it. This came out a few months ago. I played it. I think I played it more than once. I love it. I love it. I love it. I won't play the whole thing, but just like you know who I'm talking about.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean, certainly you tap.
See, it's just beautiful. Watch that if you haven't seen it. By the way, so his YouTube channel, who's got more 400,000 subscribers. So Pierre Poilievre posted 2 days ago a video titled WTF, and looks like it has Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. So let's find out what this is about.
The Prime Minister's Arrive scam is now flailing out of control. Today, revelations from a Joël Denis Bellevance that one Arrive scan company received $250 million in contracts. Let's get this straight. It's a company with 4 employees, headquartered in the basement of a tiny cottage. They got IT contracts even though they admit they do no IT work. $250 million. WTF.
Here, here. I'm going to ask the honourable opposition leader, please, to withdraw that comment and to use parliamentary language, please.
Where's the funds?
Okay, not quite as spicy as I was hoping for, but, you know, okay. I mean, better than what we get here. So I'm going to finish this up with, from the Citizen Free Press. Apparently this was from Friday night.
What?
Jim Brewer, everybody. Jim Brewer. Let's see what he has to say.
Is going on? Right? Like, it's past. It's past if you're divided politically. Even, you have to admit, even if you're like, I don't care as long as it's not you know who. Like, that was like a demonic, like the devil came out and just whoever, like, we're gonna make people hate Donald Trump. Hate! Get him! I hate Donald Trump! He's a racist! He's a dead white supremacist! He's an insurrectionist! They lynch people!
I mean, if you listen, I mean, it's hard to hear everything he's saying, but like, that's what they say. He's not actually exaggerating in any way. He's just taking all the craziness and kind of condensing it down, all the energy and feeling to into a few seconds.
And I'm gonna blame you because I saw the news channels. I saw them saying, he's racist, he's sexist. You would just wake up to pee in the middle of the night. He hates Mexicans, and he says they're rapists, and he hates black people, and he... What? They had, remember the Women's March? We're gonna march! Oh, they knew what a woman was then.
Jim Brewer, everybody. All right. I have so many bookmarks in there. All right, that's all I got for today. I'll see y'all tomorrow, hopefully. Saturday here. Do great things, man. Go show some love, be with family, make a difference. Please like, subscribe, follow, comment, do all the things. I appreciate share. Sharing's a big one. If I actually put something out that is worth hearing. So do all the things, and I'll see you next time. God bless.
I'd say that was a pretty successful broadcast.
This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time.
This war stops now.
End the war. Bring freedom to our people.
No. No more tricks. No more lies. Only truth.
This is where we hold them! This is where we fight!